What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Alright guys, so we are actually going to continue our coverage over Spawn for Spawn Sundays. Now, this is the storyline where it's technically written by Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison in the early 1990s went over to Image Comics and wrote a Spawn storyline. Now, this is a three-part storyline, but it is Grant Morrison bringing in a very new, interesting character to fight against Spawn, and that would be Anti-Spawn. Of course, Anti-Spawn coming from heaven to get rid of Spawn, because Spawn is a Hellspawn that works for one of the devils in hell, better known as Malbolgia. Either way, right now, this storyline right here is all about the idea of Anti-Spawn fighting against our good old hero Spawn. But the question is though, who is Anti-Spawn? And how in the world did he become Anti-Spawn? And so getting into today's storyline, we actually do pick up right now in Simmonsville. Now, when it comes to Simmonsville, it's actually this run-down nuclear testing site. And the reason why I say run down, because it used to be a nuclear testing site until one particular day. And that day was when you had a nuclear bomb go off and you had a portal open up. And of course, that portal led into hell. Now, that is the moment where you did have some hell creatures come through that portal. Now, when the hell creatures actually came through that portal, well, you had Jason Wynn kind of make a deal with these hell creatures. And the deal is that he will exchange different memories that belongs to Al Simmons, and he will receive psychoplasm. Now, when it comes to psychoplasm, it's really more of a material that creates people's fears and manifests them out in the real world. And so right now you have Jason Wynn trying to get control of psychoplasm and try to sell it to the military, because he believes that if the military and him are able to actually get a better understanding of psychoplasm and be able to actually use it as a weapon, then America is golden when it comes to future wars. And so right now you have Jason Wynn trying to make a deal with Major Vale and to hopefully sell it to the military. But you do have Major Vale tell Jason Wynn, listen man, I need some time to actually think about this idea of yours. Now that is the moment where we do jump over to Spawn. Now when we do, this is Spawn right now technically reminding us that at this moment in Spawn Comics, he has claimed a particular area of New York as his territory. Because as we saw in our last video, Spawn is done being pushed over by random people in his area. And on top of that, he wants to make sure that the homeless people in his area are also protected because they have been protecting him. Now, with that being said though, you do have Spawn right now also trying to figure out who killed him. Now, technically, he does know that Chapel, his old friend, who's right now part of the Youngbloods, had technically shot and killed him. But he knows that someone must have gave that order to Chapel. And the question is though, who? Now, we know it's Jason Wynn. But for right now, Spawn has no idea it is Jason Wynn who had technically ordered Chapel to kill him off. Now, this is also Spawn wondering, does he have a dead body actually laying in some kind of grave? Because Spawn, if you're a dead person, you have no body. And right now, Spawn is technically alive and he has this body. And so he's wondering in his grave, is there a body or no body at all? And so right now, he is going to dig up his old grave to figure out if there is a body laying there, his body. Now, that is the moment where we actually pick up with Terran Affair headquarters. Now, when it comes to Terran Affair headquarters, they actually work for Heaven. Yes, you heard that right. Heaven is now once again involved in Spawn Comics, which honestly makes sense because Spawn is from hell. Either way though, when it comes to Terran Affair headquarters, they technically hire freelancers to go after Spawn characters who are right now in the realm of the living. So that means anytime a Spawn is right now on Earth, they hire a freelancer to go after that Spawn to hopefully kill them off. Now, we saw that in our earlier videos when it came to Spawn Sunday with the character known as Angela. She was technically hired to go after Al Simmons because he is the current Spawn on Earth right now. And so when it came to Angela, she fought against him, but she had lost against him. And that right there is actually very important. Because she lost to Spawn, you now have Heaven saying, you know what? This new Spawn must be a special kind of Hellspawn. And so we need a more powerful person to actually be able to kill him off. And that is the moment where we do jump over to Orbital Angel Station. Now, when it comes to Orbital Angel Station, it's actually a space station that's right now being run by a bunch of angels. Now, these angels have actually taken over human bodies that were originally running this space station, but now they're being controlled by angels. And right now, what their goal is to create something really powerful to be able to actually go after Spawn and to hopefully kill him off. And so when it comes to the space station, usually they try to transfer elemental fire into a host, and hopefully that host can become something really powerful to go and battle against Spawn and to go get rid of him. But the question is though, who is the person they're going to choose to be the host for this elemental fire that's so strong it should be able to kill off a Spawn? And so we come to find out the host they choose is actually Jason Wynn. Now, this is huge. And the reason why, because remember, Jason Wynn is the person that had actually killed off Al Simmons, which of course turned him into Spawn. Because remember, even though Chapel was the one who had pulled the trigger, Chapel got the orders from Jason Wynn to kill off Al Simmons. Either way, you do have the angels choose Jason Wynn to take in the elemental fire. He is the perfect host to actually take in that power and become something really powerful to hopefully battle Spawn and to hopefully kill him off. Now, while you have the angels actually doing this ritual, you do also have Jason Wynn mention something very important, where it seems that he's actually working for somebody from hell. And of course, it could be Malbolgia or possibly someone else. But either way, he has now become the host for this elemental fire that has come from heaven. And so that is the moment where we do jump over to Spawn. Now, when we do, it's Spawn right now going to his grave. And remember, the reason why he's going to his grave right now is because he wants to see his dead body. Because technically, his mindset right now, if he's alive and other people can see him right now, and he's able to fight against people, then technically this is his body right here he's using, which means that there should be no dead body right now in the grave. Unfortunately, when he does undig his grave, he does see his dead body, which tells him right now, you're not technically using your body. Technically at the moment, you're using some kind of, well, I don't know, a different kind of body, possibly someone else's body. Either way, it's Spawn realizing that, yes, he's dead, but he has no idea how in the world he was reborn. He wants more answers. And so that is the moment where we do jump over to Jason Wynn. Now, when we do, we actually see Jason Wynn right now taking in that elemental fire. Now, with him actually doing that, this is huge, because we kind of find out that when it comes to elemental fire, it is a huge weakness to Spawn characters. Meaning that if you're a Hellspawn and you get hit with elemental fire, well, my friend, you're gonna get seriously injured. And so right now, it seems the angels are giving him this elemental fire as a way so that he'll be able to kill off Spawn very easily. It's a very powerful weapon to use. Now, once the whole process is done, that is the moment where we do get our first appearance of Anti-Spawn. This is Anti-Spawn right now, technically being made to kill off Spawn, and Heaven's hoping that he is powerful enough to actually kill off Spawn. And so continue our coverage over this storyline, we do pick up with the second chapter. Now, with the second chapter, we actually do pick up right now with Malbolgia technically contacting Spawn to tell him more about everything he needs to know. Not everything, but kind of giving him pieces of information that he needs to know. Now remember, when it comes to Malebolgia, he is one of the devils in hell, and technically he does rule the 8th circle of hell. Now when it comes to Malebolgia, he's right now trying to explain the history of psychoplasm. It's everything I told you earlier, but also when it comes to Simmonsville as well. Now that is the moment where you do have Malebolgia actually show Spawn Simmonsville. And when it comes to Simmonsville, it's just different memories of Al Simmons' life put together in this one particular area. And that is why I said earlier that the deal Jason Wynn made here in this area was that Jason Wynn turned his entire city, Simmonsville, to be just pieces of memories of Al Simmons to serve over to Hell. And Hell in return gives Jason Wynn a plate full of psychoplasm to hopefully use down the road in the near future. And so that is how Malebolgia is kind of able to control Spawn, but know all the different memories of Spawn thanks to Jason Wynn. Either way, it's Spawn realizing that he's just some tool, and sooner or later, he is gonna have to join Malebolgia's army. And for Spawn, this actually sucks. And the reason why, because even though you have Malebolgia kind of give Spawn more information about why he is Spawn and what he is doing right now on Earth, and not everything, but just a tad bit of pieces here and there of information, is Spawn just craving and craving to learn more about what in the world is going on with him. Why was he reborn? Now, this leads into the big moment. And what I mean by that is the moment where you have Spawn be confronted by no other than Anti-Spawn or Anti-Spawn, one of the two names. Either way, this is the guy that was sent from heaven to technically take out Spawn. And remember, with that eternal fire, it's going to be an actual challenge. Now that is the moment where we do jump over to Wanda Blake and Terry Fitzgerald. Now remember, Wanda Blake used to be married to Spawn before he was killed off, but at the same time, Terry was the best friend of Spawn. Now the two characters did get married after Al Simmons had died, and they have a child together. But when it comes to Wanda and Terry, right now technically, they're kind of still trying to figure out what really happened to Al Simmons. And so at the same time, you have the two characters kind of digging into the past to hopefully discover what really happened to her ex-husband and also his best friend. Now, of course, all the fingers kind of do point towards Jason Wynn, but at the same time, they're having a hard time trying to figure out how Jason Wynn was actually involved. Now, right now, you do have the two characters watching the news, and when they are watching the news, they are apparently finding out that Jason Wynn was kidnapped or mysteriously disappeared. Because remember, when Heaven took him away, he was actually taken away in front of a group of people. And so of course, word got out that he just disappeared in some kind of strange way, and no one knows where he went to. But when it comes to Wanda Blake, she honestly doesn't care, because she still feels like Jason Wynn is responsible somehow in the death of Al Simmons. And so that is the moment where we do jump over to Spawn right now, fighting against Anti-Spawn. Now, when it comes to their battle, honestly, this is a beatdown at first for Spawn. I mean, literally, it is a beatdown for Spawn. Because Anti-Spawn appears, and you have Spawn being overconfident, thinking like, okay, listen, I've been fighting freaks for a while now, and you're just another freak of the week. I should be able to actually take you down. Let's go. And you have Anti-Spawn say, oh, brother, you don't realize that right now, I am not just a regular freak of the week. I'm on a whole completely different level, because I got the power of heaven inside of me right now, and I'm about to whoop that butt. And so you have Anti-Spawn literally whoop that butt. Spawn's getting beat all over the place. I mean, guys, literally, the second half of the second chapter is just Spawn getting whooped left and right. Unfortunately, the man cannot do anything to get a punch in. And when he tries to run away, oh, you have Anti-Spawn say, you cannot run away from me. With the powers I have inside of me, I am able to track you just like that. So brother, I'm telling you right now, there's no way you're gonna get away from this butt whooping. Now, here's the thing. You also have Anti-Spawn literally say that he has the powers of heaven inside of him, or he got powers from heaven that's right now inside of him. Now for Spawn, he's even more confused because Spawn truly does not understand his whole entire purpose when it comes to the war between heaven and hell. And so right now, with him hearing the idea that technically there is some kind of dude right now holding powers that came from heaven that's trying to kill him off, he is very confused because he has no idea that his powers technically comes from hell. Either way, it's right now seeming like you're going to have Anti-Spawn being able to kill off Spawn right here and now. Now, getting into the third chapter where it does seem like Spawn is about to be killed off by Anti-Spawn, well, that is the moment where you do have Spawn be saved by the homeless people that he has been protecting. And what I mean by that is you do have one particular homeless person come right behind Anti-Spawn and knock him in the back of the head. Now, of course, no damage was done to Anti-Spawn, but it did distract him long enough so that our Spawn is able to get back up with a second burst of energy and use that second burst of energy as a way to take down Anti-Spawn. And so with that happening, it's the reason why you have Spawn being able to actually defeat Anti-Spawn. Because once he's able to get a blast in of Psychoplasm, bam, just like that, Anti-Spawn cannot really fight back like he was earlier. And so now the battle is in the favor of Spawn, and he is able to actually defeat Anti-Spawn. Now, once he's able to actually defeat Anti-Spawn, you have Anti-Spawn actually glow, and technically his whole body is teleported back to the space station that's right now being controlled by the Angels. And so technically at this moment, we can say that Spawn won this time against Anti-Spawn. But of course, he's still on the playing board, meaning that we could see Anti-Spawn down the road once again. And the reason why I'm saying that, because like I said earlier, when it came to Anti-Spawn, once he had lost his Spawn, his body just teleported right back over to the Orbital Angel Station. And with that happening, you have the Angels say, listen, the test went well, and we believe that we actually have something here to actually be used over and over again to battle against Hellspawns who appear in the living world, the living realm. And so right now, what the Angels are going to do is kind of run some more tests and try to modify Jason Wynn to make him an even better Anti-Spawn. So that's why I say he's still on the gaming board to come back down the road to fight against Spawn again, because Angels are trying to use Anti-Spawn as a way to get rid of our Spawn. Now that is the moment where we do jump over to Spawn. Now when we do see Spawn right now actually being confronted by a mysterious character. Now we have no idea who this character is just yet, but he does say he does work along someone that Spawn had actually met back in Spawn number 9. And that was, and I'm going to mispronounce this name, so guys, please forgive me and also help me out to learn how to pronounce this name. But apparently the guy's name is Cagliostro. Either way, Cagliostro, we saw him back in Spawn number 9, and he was a very strange guy that was trying to help Spawn learn more about who he is and what powers he has. But this mysterious guy says, listen very carefully, I work alongside that guy right there, but we both belong to a different group of people, not heaven nor hell. Right now, we're on the sideline, and we are trying to do something different in the world. But we believe that you have the power to actually defeat the devil. Now that is huge, because Malbolgia technically was the one who made Al Simmons into Spawn. And the question is right now, how powerful is Al Simmons as Spawn that he'll be able to actually defeat the devil? And why does this mysterious guy and his group of people want Al Simmons to get rid of the devil? Right now, we have no idea, because our mysterious character just disappears after handing Al a blank card and says the blank card will technically reveal itself later on. Now, that is the moment where we do see Spawn go over to Simmonsville. Now, when he does go over to Simmonsville, he sees that this is a city that was technically made up of all the different memories of Al Simmons' life, like where he had proposed to Wanda, or where they got married, or of course, where he grew up at. It's just different parts of the city. It's just different memories over his life over time. And so, of course, he hates this so much because technically Malbolgia is feeding off this area, but at the same time, there's a portal right now that leads into hell. And so Spawn right now is saying, I'm going to burn this entire place to the ground. Now, you do have Major Vale try to stop Spawn from actually burning down this place, but you have Spawn kill him off just like that, because Spawn remembers Major Vale very well, and he knows that Major Vale worked alongside with Jason Wynn. And right now, is Spawn kind of saying to us as the readers that he does know Jason Wynn has something to do with his death before he had died 5 years ago. But on top of that, Major Vale used to work alongside Jason Wynn, and Major Vale is just as crooked as Jason Wynn. And so that is why he killed him off. Now, after you have Spawn burn down this entire city, he does keep one particular memory alive. Now, we do see Spawn actually go over to Wanda's and Terry's house. Now, when he does go over to Wanda's and Terry's house, it's right now technically Spawn just kind of stalking the house, because he really can't go to the front door and talk to her, because he does not want her to know that he is technically alive again. It could literally break her heart. But at the same time, we come to find out the one particular memory that he had kept from Simmonsville is actually the day he proposed to Wanda. And so what he does, he takes that memory that he has saved from Simmonsville and technically teleports it into her mind, so that she'll be able to remember that moment just for a brief second, because that was a very special moment when he had proposed to her. It was very, very special to both. And so right now it's her crying because it's her remembering that special day. But also it's Spawn realizing that he can never be able to actually talk to her. And the reason why? Because if he does, if she sees him, it could break her heart. And so he has to live in darkness until he's able to figure out what in the world is going on with him. But with that being said, guys, I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. And if you did, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.